Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk through all the books that I read last month, September. So today we have about 4 books to talk about. And yeah, let's get right into it. So the first book that I read this month was A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This book I really did enjoy. I need to get the other 2 books so that way I can go ahead and get started on those, because this did leave a cliffhanger and I'm intrigued about why was that sentence said? Like, why? I'm so held up on that. So I need to get these on order, but this book is about basically a girl who is in this magic school called the Scholomance. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. But in the Scholomance, there's monsters and other people who are against you. Granted, it's not necessarily that they would kill you. There are some in there. But these students have less chance of surviving on the outside. So they have a better chance if they go to the school and they hone their magical abilities. Well, our main character, Galadriel, or Elle, is what she likes to be called. She's a bit of a loner, and so she doesn't want to make friends. And she wants to just get through the school. She wants to get through without making a big fuss about herself, because she's got a secret. And her secret is that basically she's super powerful and could be a bad witch. So in this, though, it's basically like her going through the school, but then learning to make friends, and it was just a good time. I really enjoyed reading this, and like I said, there's a huge cliffhanger at the end, so I want to be able to pick up the next book in the series. The next one I read was a cozy fall romance, and it's called The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. So this takes place in the same town and atmospheric fall vibe as Erin Sterling's first book, and The Ex-Hex. So The Ex-Hex was about Vivian, and this one is about, oh crap, what's her name? Gwen. Is about Gwen. And these 2 are cousins. And so now you get to learn about her getting to fall in love, and there's also a little mystery of why her magic has gone away. So she's looking into that. But then you've got all your Halloween vibes. You got your pumpkins, you got your black cats, you've got your talking cat, and then you've got some romance. So great book, loved it for the atmosphere. Definitely would recommend picking this up. The next book I read, it has been super hyped this year, and to be quite fair, I completely agree with the hype. I should have read this as soon as it came out. I'm kind of glad that I didn't, though. So definitely glad that I picked this up. And I already have the next one pre-ordered. Super excited. But that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This was just, I don't even know how to explain it. This is a new fave for me. If you liked ACOTAR, you would definitely like this. I think, anyway. The characters had me so gripped. Love Violet, love Xander, love the world. I love that they can talk to dragons. Like, it's great, okay? A lot of the times in books, the dragons don't talk. At least the books that I've read, the dragons don't talk. I love that the dragons talk, and they've got attitude, and I love it. And then you got, you know, power in it too. So in this book, it is basically, you have a school, and you go to the school to either go into the scribe quadrant, the infantry quadrant, the healer quadrant, or the rider's quadrant. The most dangerous is the rider's quadrant. Most people who go in to be a rider, they don't make it out, okay? And Violet is very weak. She was always sick as a child. But her two older siblings were riders. Her mom is the commandant of the school, the general of the school. So her mom said, no, you're not going to be a scribe, because that's what Violet was trained all her life to be by her dad. But because her dad died and isn't there to basically say, no, she's going to go into the scribe to be a scribe, her mom was like, I'm not going to have a child as a scribe. My children are writers. So she goes into the school where, I mean, she literally could die by trying to get into the school. But this is a YA fantasy, not a YA. This is an adult fantasy romance. But I think it does a really good job of mixing the fantasy with the romance, because this is it's a slow burn, I feel like, a little bit. But then once it happens, and it's like, oh, great. I don't even know what else to say about it other than this is phenomenal, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. It comes out in just over a month, and I cannot wait till it gets on my doorstep, because as soon as I get it, I will be reading it. So yes, definitely recommend Fourth Wing. You have to go read this. The final book I read in September was Chaos and Flame by Tessa Grayton and Justina Ireland. This has a very interesting world to it. I really did like it. So there are, I believe, 6 houses. There's the House Dragon, House Kraken, House Sphinx, House Griffin, House Cockatrice, and House Vargas. And so in this, it gives you a little bit of a prequel in third person. It basically explains that these houses were at peace until the Dragon House Regent's wife was murdered. And he, for some reason, got intel that it was House Sphinx. So he started a war, and then proclaimed that he was Prince Regent over all the houses. Well, this boy at the beginning of the book is drawing this girl. And it's so many drawings, paintings, all that stuff. And this boy is 10 at the time. He has no idea what's going on. The mother, however, knew what ability he had. In this book, they call those abilities boons, and you are born with them. Well, the mother told him not to say anything about it, because the boon that he has could put him in danger. It also brings madness after so many years. So yes, well, the mother died, the aunt, then found out about the boon. She said, hey, let me help you, blah, blah, blah. And she became kind of like the seer, but she was using her nephew's boon, which is prophecy. Well, then the dragon house regent, Prince Regent, died. And this young boy, who I think at the time was like 17 or whatever, he became Prince Regent, but he locked himself in the tower. So that is like the little prequel part of this. This follows Darling, and Talon. Talon is the Prince Regent's younger brother, and Darling is the girl that the Prince Regent has been drawing all those years. This is also supposed to be a fantasy romance. It's more YA than adult. I have to say though, because after reading Fourth Wing and then going to this as a fantasy romance, the romance didn't grip me like I wanted it to. I wanted to be all in on the romance. But really what kept me reading was the plot itself and trying to figure out the riddles of the Prince Regent. That was really what kept me reading on this, not the romance. And don't get me wrong, I like all the characters, but my favorite characters were the Prince Regent and Darling. Loved them. So I loved reading from Darling's perspective, because there's two perspectives you read from, Talon and Darling. But I loved reading from Darling, but I loved also when you read from both perspectives, you got the Prince Regent in both. So I was satisfied because I got who I wanted, in the chapters. But I did already pre-order this just because, like, the last chapter, cliffhanger again. Like, what the heck? I had an inkling about one part of that, and I was right. But the other part I did not see coming. So it surprised me. But this overall was a really good book. I think if you want more plot oriented, than, the romance plot wise, if you want more fantasy plot forward than romance forward, definitely pick this one up because it is a very good read. So those are all the books that I read in the month of September. And I feel like that month was really good. I don't really read more than, I'm gonna say 4 to 5 books a month. I feel like that's pretty good. Sometimes I read more. It depends on how quickly I read it. But comment down below, what are some of the books you read in September? Because I would love to know. Maybe I will pick some of those up, or maybe I've read some of those and we can chat about it. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with me, and don't forget, be good people.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost,